WAOK presents The On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Award Show, celebrating and acknowledging women of color who demonstrate excellence in leadership and character. Women who possess courage and confidence, and women who shine bright in the community and society, creating a successful path for others. We're recognizing and uplifting 7 remarkable women making a difference in our world. Mayor Angelyne Butler, Sheriff Melody Maddox, Elisabeth Omilami, Michelle Glover, Avery Sunshine, Attorney CK Hoffler, Dr. Maxine Cain, and a few special honorees, with a special performance by Poet Laureate Hank Stewart, broadcasting from the Odyssey Atlanta studios. And now, The On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Award Show.
You're a shining star, no matter who you are, shining bright to see what you can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be. Shining star for you to see what your life can truly be.
Right here, News and Talk with 1380 WAOK. You know, we've been preparing for this all month long during Women's History Month, Trailblazer Awards, and we are certainly excited. These awards are here today because we want to honor and recognize some women who are doing some great things. I'm going to tell you exactly who they are in just a moment, but of course, as we're preparing in our next hour coming up, thank you for listening, and of course, you can download the Odyssey app. You know, there are a lot of women and individuals who are doing work, but sometimes, you know, their contributions are overlooked. Sometimes, you know, we don't see their perseverance. We don't see their commitment and their passion to what they do. And so it is during this month that we take the moment out for just a moment and say, hey, to these great women, we celebrate you. And so there will be 7 amazing women that are about to come forth as we present them with the Trailblazer Awards. So stick around. Don't go anywhere. That's coming up next right here on Point with Juandolyn Stokes for News and Talk 1380. We are WAOK.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Honoree, a woman who advocates. Attorney CK Hoffler, CEO of the CK Hoffler firm.
Hear ye! Hear ye! The court's in session. The court's in session.
Hey, there ain't no justice in that picture.
To my dear sister, Reverend Dr. Juandolyn Stokes, who is a trailblazer in her own right, a civic leader, an extraordinary woman with extraordinary talent and brilliance, who gives voice to the voiceless every single day that she's on the air and what she does in the community. I say thank you for giving me the honor of receiving this Trailblazer Award at WAOK. I am so humbled and honored because, you know, the talk show that I participate in on Juandolyn's segment, Law and Legal, has been such a magnificent experience for me to be able to share with the public and give them a legal analysis. Perhaps it's different from what they hear on television or hear on other radio stations. It's such a blessing. So, Juandolyn Stokes, I want to thank you for giving me that opportunity. Thank you for your words of wisdom, your brilliance, your vivaciousness, your vision, and your ability to bring in the audience. And thank you finally for honoring me and humbling me with this Trailblazer Award. I love you, and I look forward to many, 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 many more shows with you where we can help our audiences understand a little bit more about the legal issues, on the legal perspective on issues that concern our community here in the ATL and nationally.
Thank you so much, Attorney CK Hoffler. I want to say welcome and a pleasant good morning to those who are in our audience live. We're certainly glad to have you here. Awesome. And congratulations to our first recipient of the On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Awards, Attorney CK Hoffler. Now, some of you may or may not know, but every Tuesday, she's our legal expert for law and legal right here on Point with Juandolyn Stokes. And so with her busy schedule, she takes out the time to talk to the community and to answer legal questions and to address a lot of things that are happening in our world. Attorney CK, are you on the line?
I am on the line. Good morning.
Hey, sister girl, how you doing?
Oh, I'm doing well, and good morning to your audience. And I just have to say, I am here in an arbitration in West Palm Beach, Florida, and but for that, I would be there in person. I would not miss this. I am, Wanda, I'm just so humbled by this. So thank you so much. I'm just so excited. I'm so excited, and I just believe that today when I awakened and I thought about this award, it took me to a place of just being grateful that I have lived to see the day where you're giving me a Trailblazer Award.
Yeah. Yeah. And you know, I appreciate you because I think that the work that you do with athletes, the work that you do in legal capacity, you know, helping a lot of athletes to make the right decisions before they, you know, go off and play for different teams. And you represent a lot of athletes legally. And so that's a marvelous thing that you're doing to help families and young men, as well as what you do in the community at your law firm in downtown Atlanta in the Lenox area. And thank you for all the community service that you do here on 1380 WAOK. I wish you were here, but I guess we'll have to have lunch and I'll have to hand deliver it to you. I wish I could be in West Palm Beach on vacation, but you hold it down there, okay? And again, congratulations to you, our audience. Let's show some love to attorney CK Hoffler. Woo!
Thank you.
We've got nothing but love for you.
And congratulations to all the other recipients as well.
Yes, awesome. Well, thank you. Have a great one now. Be safe there in Florida, okay?
Okay, I will do.
All right.
Bye-bye.
All right. Stay healthy, stay connected, stay on point. It is the 2024 Trailblazer Awards right here on point with Juandolyn Stokes, and some other guests are coming up. And you know, a lot of these women, they just are doing powerful work in their areas. I mean, Michelle Glover, Mayor Butler from Forest Park, and others that are here that are coming up next. So stay tuned. Don't you go anywhere. These awards are given to outstanding women who oftentimes may be overlooked with all of the work and the contributions that they make. And we want the world to know. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're all about. It is Women's History Month, and all month long we have been highlighting women as well as hearing their stories and their voices about things that they've been experiencing and going through. And also, we want to invite you to watch our Woman to Woman series on WAOK's YouTube channel. We've been featuring women every week, every Thursday. And of course, we've been featuring the voice and host of The Quiet Storm, Joyce Littell, who's sitting right over here. Yes. An exciting interview with her. Also, our news director here, Dr. Maria Boynton. We sat down and talked with her as well. And just last week, the daughter of Dick Gregory, Ayanna Gregory, shares with us also on a Woman to Woman series. She talks about what life is like being raised as a daughter of Dick Gregory and all of the work that she does to continue the legacy, through song, through the arts, and through her activism. And so also coming up on tomorrow, Woman to Woman, Ayanna Parsons, who is the co-founder of the Fearless Fund. And that's a fund in terms of when it comes to venture capitalism and also helping women and entrepreneurs. Well, she will be our special guest on tomorrow at 7 o'clock, Woman to Woman, on our YouTube channel. And thank you all for listening, and thank you for being in our audience today. We are News and Talk, and we're always 1380 WAOK.
On point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in politics. Mayor Angelyne Butler, mayor of Forest Park, Georgia.
Mayor, mayor, mayor. Mayor, 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 mayor. M-A-Y.
Yes, that wasn't the mayor singing, but we're just kind of creating some fun and joy. We want to welcome another recipient of the On Point with Juandolyn Stokes Trailblazer Awards, the one and the only Mayor Angelyne Butler. Come on, let's give it up for her. Yes, look at this. Oh, my God. Isn't this wonderful? Come on, sit down. Let's talk for just a moment. Yes, definitely. Now, Mayor Butler, you have been making history, I understand there. You're award-winning community leader, but I understand from a historical perspective, you are the first person of color to serve?
I am, and let me just start by saying, on behalf of the governing body and north of 20,000 residents, it's an honor to sit with you today, and I bring greetings to everyone under the sound of my voice.
Wow.
Yes, but I am, and it has been humbling, and while it is an achievement that I am so proud of, my family is proud of, I really want to be known as the mayor that was the agent of change.
Yeah, wow. That's powerful. And not only as the first person of color, but the second woman in this capacity?
Yes.
Wow.
1908 is when Forest Park was incorporated.
Wow,
Yes.
That's amazing. So tell us about some of the work that you've been doing as an agent of change, because you had to step in and roll your sleeves up and start to working, right?
And that is true. And let me say, for any one of us that are a first, we understand the magnascope, the microscope that we're under. And we understand that we are not at liberty to make the mistakes, whether it's intentional or not, as our predecessors have. And so there is a lot of expectation. Some expect us to fail. But then I know that God put me here for a purpose. I understand that this is my purpose, and with Him, I will never fail. My community will never fail. And so as a result of being in this role, I inherited a $15 million debt that we were able to turn around in 4 years. And so when I say we turned it around, we turned $15 million worth of debt into over $1 billion worth of investments for our Gillum Logistics Center in just 4 years. Thank you. And so for me, I like to say Forest Park, we are progressing. But progress is more than just a vision of onward momentum. When you hear that word, it's an acronym that stands for political restoration, opportunity, and growth for residential, economic, and social success. And so you can speak on each pillar independently. However, progress is really achieved when they work together. And so that is what we've been working on. And so political restoration, when I tell you, you've had to come in and clean house. And it was not easy. But when I tell you the first 4 people of my administration that left had been with the city of Forest Park for over 220 years. And so when you think about how and why a community remains in the condition that it's in, that helps explain it. So I like to say now I have my dream team of directors, and so they allow me to stand before you all today, or sit before you all today, to brag and boast on all the great things that are happening in Forest Park, and so I wouldn't be here without them. The residential piece, we have an antiquated housing stock, but I'm so proud of my governing body who recently allotted $1.3 million for our legacy residents to do some needed and vital repairs for their homes that will not just raise their value, but it will ultimately raise the curb appeal of their block and then subsequently the city. We have some townhome development coming, and so I'm really excited about that. As I mentioned, the $1 billion worth of investment for the economic development piece, that was over at the Gillum Logistics Center, and that is going beautifully. And so now I can focus this term on bringing life outside of Gillum, and so Main Street, downtown Main Street in Forest Park is our goal. And so we have some talks of some development opportunities coming there that I'm exceptionally proud of. And then with the social success piece, that's just tying in all the cultural diversity and all the great things that are happening in Forest Park, because with that I understand we have to tell our own story. And so my public information officer and team are doing a great job of spreading all of the great things that are happening in Forest Park.
Wow, that's great. You're doing some amazing things as a powerful leader there. What do you say to other women to encourage them to stay in the path, of leadership because of the challenges that we as women face?
You have to find your purpose. And when you find your purpose, you have to understand it. And then once you understand it, you have to walk in full authority. And so there are many days where I question if I'm on the right path here. But then when I remember my purpose and why I'm actually sitting in this seat, and then it never fails, a little kid will come up to me and say, "Are you my mayor?" And I'm like, "Yes, baby, I am." And it goes back to representation and how that matters. And so understanding that this is really my purpose makes those challenging days not seem as challenging. So I would say to anyone, find your purpose. It's going to take you a moment to sit in complete solitude, and you're going to have to really face some tough questions that you're going to have to ask yourself, and then answer those questions. But once you do, the grass is greener on the other side, and the floodgates will open.
What do you say when the inner voice, is so frustrated by male counterparts who may always try to put you down and discourage you, and it kind of can work against one's self-esteem? That inner voice is talking to you. What do you say to women who deal with that?
Well, and let me just say, it's not just men.
Okay.
Sometimes it's people that look like us.
Ooh.
And when I tell you, that has been the most challenging part in this role, but I go back again to understanding my purpose.
Okay.
And then I understand the art of projection. And sometimes people project onto us what they're going through or what they may have done. And so when I look at it from that perspective, I really understand that it's more about them and not me. And I understand how the devil, there are so many distractions that people will throw at us in every shape, color, form. But my goal is Forest Park. So I don't worry about what's going on elsewhere. I don't try to get outside of my lane. I stay focused on where God has put me, and that is to represent Forest Park.
Wow, that's great. That's great. What about dress, like for women? Sometimes when you're in your setting, it used to be years ago, we had to wear black suits, gray, or navy blue. We couldn't wear something as beautiful as this. So that you could be heard and they understood your position. How have you handled that?
I am authentically who I am. I embrace my femininity.
Yes.
So if I want to wear... Thank you. But I always have to remain true to who I am.
Yeah.
And I think when people try to step outside of who they are, that's when they get lost, and that's when it's easier for people to take advantage of them because they're confused about themselves, that someone else could come in and tell them who they are and who they think they are and how they should act, and then they fall short there. But I embrace every ounce of my fangelininity.
I love it, and that's what we all have to do, right? Who we are. Let's give it up again for our award recipient and honoree, Mayor Angelyne Butler.
Thank you so much.
Congratulations. We love you, and we've got so much more for you. Don't you go anywhere, because we got a surprise for you.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman who serves. Sheriff Melody Maddox, DeKalb County Sheriff.
Like a cop car.
Come on up, Sheriff. Welcome, love. Lord, we're not going to put you in jail, all right? Come on. We're going to leave that up to you. Wow. It is such an honor to have you to share with us today. And certainly, you always come to mind when it comes to community because she's always reaching out to help others in her community and her area in DeKalb County. Give us a brief overview of what you do in your work.
Oh, wow. It's a lot.
Yeah.
Let me just say this. First of all, thank you again for the honor and the privilege. The Bible says, let your good work shine that others may see it and brag on it.
Yeah.
And I'm so glad that people in the community are actually seeing what we are doing. And if you notice, I didn't say I, it's we, because we do it as an agency, but we also do it as a community, because I could not do it without the support of the citizens of DeKalb County as well as the employees of the DeKalb County Sheriff Office. But my works come from, I'm totally responsible for the care, custody, and control of the inmates that are incarcerated at the DeKalb County Sheriff Office. We're responsible for endeavoring on those egregious warrants that are out there, such as rape, robbery, murder, all of those warrants. What else? Responsible for the security at the judicial complex, which is the the probate court judges, all the superior court judges, state court judges, the whole courthouse. We're responsible for all of that.
Wow.
But making sure that our community is safe is our number one priority for me.
Wow. What are you seeing, overall, whether it's in your county and other counties, that some of the major problems that we're having in the community?
Some of the major problems that I think that we're having is that people don't understand the role and the responsibility of law enforcement as a whole.
Okay.
And I think we need to start and go back to bridging that gap, number one. That's the biggest issue that I see that's happening, and that's why I coined the name the community sheriff, because it's important for those leaders in this role that wear a badge and a gun to not just be seen as individuals that lock up or detain those, but to be able to get out and have open conversations and understand what's going on in our community. That's what's going to keep our community safe. Everything else will fall in place. I'm big on making sure the community is safe. I even talk to the commissioners, the CEO, and let them know that we need to put a focus on public safety. Public safety should always be the number one priority. If you have that, people will come and they will live, they will work, and they will play where they feel safe. And that is just paramount for us at this time in our community.
Yeah. And so as you're always reaching out and touching the community, just over the years with a lot of things that have happened, the tension between the public and law enforcement officers, what do you want the community to know to be their responsibility?
I want the community to know it's their responsibility to have a relationship with us. Okay. It's more of them than it is of us. They're going to see things that we are not going to see, because when we're in uniform, people are going to shy away, and of course they're going to stop when they see law enforcement. But if you can trust us and give us the information that we need, a lot of cases that can be closed, a lot of things will not happen because we will know it beforehand. You can't wait until afterwards and then say, oh, well, I saw and I thought, well, they kind of look suspicious. No, it's not kind of. Let us know, but you have to first trust us. Now, let me be clear. I know there are some bad apples that are amongst us, but there are bad apples in every career form and job that is out there. But it's up to us as a community to make sure that we weed those individuals out. And it's up to me as the sheriff of DeKalb County to make sure that I weed them out, even in my capacity, which is why I walked in the door on December 1st of 2019, and I did a top-to-bottom review of that agency and made sure that I got all of those vexed spirits out of that agency.
Okay. Right. And just as the mayor was saying, sometimes you got to clean house and get rid of people so that you can have the right team in place.
You got to get your dream team.
That's good. What are some of the alarming numbers that you're seeing who are being incarcerated? What are you seeing out there? What's happening?
I'm glad you asked that, because when as the sheriff, I have the opportunity to walk the floors and actually talk to those that are incarcerated, because I wanted to know, what is the issue? What's going on here? Because what I saw is that the numbers were very disturbing to me. I'm originally from Atlanta. I was born in Grady Hospital, went to Brown High School, a graduate of Morris Brown College. So I've seen from whence we've come to where we are now. And right now, even in 2024, I probably have over a little over 2,100 inmates. 2,100 inmates.
Wow.
1,600 of those are African American men, and 199 are African American women. Wow. And the question is, what are we doing in our community? Mm-hmm. And it's not an I thing. Everybody wants to point their finger at law enforcement, or they want to point their finger at school teachers. But no, what are we doing? Mm-hmm. Or what are we not doing? And that's very alarming to me. And I try to make sure that I put things in place at the sheriff's office so that when they are exited out, I don't like to say release because it sounds like we're releasing animals. But I try to be careful of the words that we use and that we speak into those individuals that are incarcerated. But as they are exiting out, make them better going out than what they did when they came in, which is why we have the GED program, a welding program. We make sure that they walk out with dignity and respect. If it's cold when they walk out, they may have been incarcerated in July and they had on shorts and a T-shirt. Well, then they get exited out in December and it's freezing cold outside. It's 30 degrees. Well, we make sure they get a sweatsuit, some socks, and something. So when they walk out with some sort of a sense of pride as they get out of that facility.
Wow, that's good. Your passion and your care for the inmates and what you do. Now, you're also involved with the NAACP and, Morris Brown. Y'all just showing out. Y'all just having something. Look at Joyce Littell.
Yes.
So you're always involved in different aspects as an alumni and giving back to Morris Brown and NAACP. Why is that important for you?
Well, it's important for me for the leadership. How can I guide others when I'm not participating myself?
Yeah.
It's the same way when I go out here and recruit. I personally recruit for the agency. I like to go out because I want people to see me as the head of the agency, that I have a care and concern, not just for those that are incarcerated, but those that work up under my leadership, that I'm going to take care of them. I can't give that if I'm not a part of it in my community in itself. So it's important for me to be active. Right now, I have one of the biggest things that we have going on in June is our camp. We have a Boys to Men, Girls to Pearls camp. This is our 4th year doing this camp, where we're taking in, and every year we go up. We went from 14 young men and ladies to 25, 36 last year. This year we're going up to 40. This is a free camp for 30 days with the DeKalb County Sheriff Office. They get breakfast, lunch, snacks. We do an alumni picnic at the end of the year where all the campers from past graduates get to come back and partake in the reunion program. We make sure that they get their school supplies, and we still keep up with those individuals to this day. So when they graduate, they do not graduate out of our lives. We are still a part of their lives, and the parents call us when they're having issues at schools, and we go to the schools and we actually handle things.
Oh, that's great. Listen, some of our kids need that reinforcement, and that accountability. That's so very important. How has your faith fueled you?
Oh, my faith is very great. My walk is very strong. The Bible says when a house is built upon stone, that if a current comes and washes it away, you still have a strong foundation. But if it's not built upon that, then it washes away. But being reared by my grandparents, I have that foundation. So sometimes when I feel like I'm straying away, it's like Moses with the lamb. He taps me to put me back in line and say, no, get back in line where you need to be. So it's very strong, and I make no apologies about it. My team that's here today will tell you that I'm always, and I would tell them up front, I wake up every morning. I go to bed every night as I'm driving. I pray for me. I pray for the agency. I pray for those that are incarcerated. I ask God, please give them a new, found, clean spirit, heart, mind, body, and soul, so they can be better going out than what they did coming in, and that as they get out into the community, that they become the productive citizens that we know that they can be if they're given the opportunity and the chance and the resources necessary to be able to do those things. So my faith is very strong, Juandolyn. I make no apologies or excuses about it, and I'm going to always speak on it, regardless of what platform that I am on.
Wow. Amen. Let's give it up for our Trailblazer Award recipient, DeKalb County Sheriff Melody Maddox. Come on, let's show it some love. Our live audience is here. Thank you all for listening. Thank you for attending. And we'll be back with more honorees right here on Point with Juandolyn Stokes.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree. A woman in the arts, Avery Sunshine, award-winning artist and songwriter.
I got sunshine on my mind. I got sunshine all the time. I got sunshine everywhere I go, and I want you to know.
I wish I could sing, but I can't do it. Come on, let's give it up for our next award recipient, the one and the only Avery Sunshine. Come on down, you're the next contestant. No. Come on, sister girl. Woo! Woo! Oh, look at that. Look at
Listen now. And I put on my extra lash glue and stuff.
Girl, me too.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
You are more than welcome. You kept me going during the pandemic.
Did we?
Yes, watching you and singing and doing all of those lives and all of that. You kept me going. Avery Sunshine has been around for a while, singing and uplifting hearts. And certainly we recognize the contribution that you've made over the years. That you've done music, writing, creating, and even encouraging women in fashion and in health. I mean, you just do it all.
I just love it. I was going to say, who are you talking about?
I'm talking about you.
No, this is great. What's amazing, and I have to stop like the ladies, my fellow honorees, my sister honorees. I am honored to even be on a platform with them, and to be here with you and Joyce Littell. I am reminded in these moments when I listen to when I hear the mayor and I hear about the sheriff and I'm like, I don't know if I should be on. These people are esteemed and highly, But I'm reminded how important all of our gifts are.
Yes, yes.
Every one of them.
Yes.
And I am a Spelman graduate. I just need to make sure I say that.
Spelman,
My husband's a Morehouse grad.
Not the HBCU.
And I see some amazing faces that I've worked with, and I am so I say all that to say I have to tell you this story. The two things really quickly. I just took over the interview, didn't I? But listen,
no, go ahead.
So Joyce Littell was one of the first people to play my music when my husband and I. Yes. And when my husband and I were told, and it's something that Sheriff Maddox said, it was a team. So
Yes.
I certainly am here because of my partnership with my amazing husband and the support of my family, my brother, my mother who are here, my in-loves who are here today.
Wonderful.
But when we were told, at the time that I started doing music, I was a single mom, 2 kids, right? And we were getting the album mixed and mastered, and he was just my partner at the time. Dana said, listen, we're going to take it to this guy to get it mastered and all. And the guy said, listen, you only need to get about 2,000 of these CDs printed because nobody's going to buy them.
Wow.
Yeah, he didn't know whose I was, huh? But the truth is that then there is a Joyce Littell who plays the very song that they say was the longest and slowest song ever on radio.
Yeah.
Joyce played it, and we went on. That song was number 17 on Billboard, completely independent.
Woo!
And in our next album, we had a number 1 single, completely independent. So I am reminded in this room with all these amazing women. I absolutely can do anything that I want to. I am the poster child for doing exactly what you want to do.
Yes.
And so now, and again, let me add. So I used to sing with the Wilmington Chester Mass Choir, right?
Yes.
You have no idea that I was watching you. Who would have thought these many years later, I was 13 or 14 years old, hearing about Juandolyn Stokes and watching you.
Wow.
Who would have believed or even thought that this many years later I would be in this space being able to tell you, thank you for your example. Wow. I was a young girl watching you. Thank you. Who would have thought?
Wow.
So when I told my mom, she said, oh, I know Juandolyn. My brother said, oh, we know Juandolyn. We going. You don't know all of us, but we know you. But it is these moments are important. Thank you for giving us our flowers. Thank you for reminding us, because we take care of so many people and so many things all the time that we forget and almost convince ourselves that it's not necessary.
Yeah.
So thank you.
Wow.
I took over. I'm sorry.
No,
I was full.
Wow, that was so many years ago when I was
yeah.
producing Wilmington Chester Mass Choir.
Chester Mass Choir. Yes. Producer.
Oh my God.
That's
wow. Right. This is a small world.
Jesus was an infant.
Yes.
Baby. I know. It has been a minute.
Why do you sing? What's the inspiration behind you singing and your delivery? So, because it's so impactful.
Why do I sing? I don't know how not to do that.
Okay.
That is the Whoopi Goldberg in I think it was what was the movie where she was the nun, y'all? Sister Act. Yes. And the young lady in the movie she said, all I can think about is music and singing and all. She said, well then girl, that's what you are. You were a singer, right? That's all I can think about. If I'm not doing it, that's all I can think about. And that's how I am able to express and be and exist.
Yeah. What's the story behind I've Got Sunshine? I know your name is in it, but what's the story behind that song?
It's one of the first songs that we recorded. My husband and another amazing writer, Jamie Porty, we wrote that song. The first album I was going through divorce.
Okay.
And it says it, and I remember, God bless his heart, but I remember he he had a Volvo. I know I'm giving y'all more. I just got to give y'all this.
Go
You
ahead,
asked me.
give
Didn't you
it.
ask
Go
me?
ahead, give the
He had
tea.
a Volvo, and I had a Dodge Caravan, right? But he said he had gotten the Volvo for me, but somehow we had switched the cars back, right? And when I got the Caravan, it was no gas in the Caravan. And I feel like he did that because we were getting a divorce. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and it was white smoke coming out of the back of the car. So the first thing I said was, "Hey, no gas is in my tank, and I got myself to thank." It was therapy. It was free therapy. I didn't have to, you know what I mean? Now we pay for it now, you know. But I needed to, that was my way of coping and helping myself understand, and in a way forgiving myself for stuff I just didn't know, for living, right? Just figuring stuff out. So these songs help me figure stuff out. I Got Sunshine helped me figure. I got sunshine anyhow.
Yeah. Yes.
God is, because the truth is the sun never stops shining. Now the earth is spinning, and it spins in where you can't see the sun, right? But then it comes back around, and the sun is still there. The sun never stops shining. So the song is, I got sunshine all the time. Everywhere I go, in my hair, in my hands, in my feet, in my heart, everywhere.
Wow. So, that's awesome. Now, how does a person like you, a creative, pianist, songwriter, singer, wife, how do you balance it and take care of yourself?
My mother, she makes it virtually impossible for me to be off the ground.
Okay.
Even though when we're on the road and I don't call, she'll send me a text. Hey, ain't heard from you. You know, you can't even hear the text, but I know that's how she sound. Hey, ... ain't heard from you. I know that's how it sounds. My mother, my husband, they keep me grounded. My family.
Yeah.
It sounds trite, y'all, but it's the truth. When I am certain that we are the sum of the people that we keep around us.
Wow, that's good.
So I am, it is my mission to make sure that I keep great people around me, and that starts with my family.
That's good. It
does.
Yeah.
It does.
That's awesome. What tips do you give to women? We've been celebrating Women's History Month and dealing with a lot of issues that relate to women.
Yeah.
What tips do you have for women in terms of dealing with stress and pressure?
Say no.
Say no.
I don't feel like it. I don't want to. I will when I want to. Go ahead and give me a glass of wine or two. Advocating for you first.
Yeah.
That's it.
Oh,
it's
wow.
me. No. It's God, and it's me. It's my husband, and then everybody else.
Yeah. That's good. That's good.
Really, and again, I was saying that a little bit earlier. We were so used to taking care of everybody else, and then we're last, and then we're upset that we're last. It's like, no, you advocate for you.
Right.
So
wow. How do songs come to you?
Like this.
Okay.
It just experiences stuff. It'll be. We'll be backstage, and my husband is playing guitar, and I say, wait, hold that.
Okay.
Let me write something to that, and we might do it right at the show that we're about to, But it depends. My father transitioned in 2019, and one of the songs was a song called Boomerang that we wrote. My husband had written the music years before, but I remember having to deal with all of that.
Yeah.
Right? And I sat in the bedroom, and it was dark in the bedroom. We had a keyboard in there. My husband's so sweet. He had a keyboard in the bedroom next to the bed for me. He's so sweet. I love him so much. But I sat down, and I remember closing my eyes and say, Dad, you have to help me figure out how to process this.
Okay.
You got to give me the words. And sometimes songs come like that.
Yeah.
It is all divinely inspired.
Right.
And I am just a vessel. This stuff is coming through us, all of us. Whatever we create, it's coming through, and we just have to be open to hear and let it be what it is, which is one of the things as an artist and creative that it can be hard. Once you've put it out, you're concerned about what people think. It's like, no, because it doesn't even belong to you anymore, right? It never really did.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's all divinely inspired.
Thank you. Thank you for what you do. Your music is very inspiring.
Thank you.
Your music is empowering, and it's touching the heart and soul. Not all music touches the heart and the soul, but yours do. It brings sunshine into the lives of so many. And that's why we love you so much, and we honor you. Come on, let's show some love to Avery Sunshine!
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in business. Michelle Glover, chair of the Women's League of the Atlanta Black Chambers.
Come on down, Michelle Glover, our sweetheart. Woo! Come on, let's give it up and show some love. The CEO of Journey Unlimited. And I'm telling you, you are certainly working it out. How are you today?
Man, I am doing great, and I am truly honored, and thank you for this recognition, and to all the honorees. You know, it's funny, when I got the invitation, I said, are they sure this is for me? Is this spam? I mean, when I hear the women in this room, I am truly honored and blessed, and so I truly appreciate you for giving all of us our flowers.
Wow.
It means so much to me.
You're more than welcome.
Thank
So
you.
tell us what you do, you know, with the Women's League there, the Atlanta Chamber.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack a little bit to how I even got in this position.
Okay.
Right, and I say, you know, what is it that you do? It's really that I'm someone who's choosing to follow God's plan for my life. So working in corporate and doing HR, leadership development, and I said, God, what's next for me in my career? And I always say, don't ask God a question you are not ready for the answer.
Right.
Because it was led to quit my job and start this business. And I'm like, well, how does this work? What do I do? And it was just be obedient.
Yes.
Be obedient. And so I left my corporate job, started my business, doing this career coaching and talking about purpose and living your purpose in your career. But I said, I knew how to be a corporate person. I had no clue how to be an entrepreneur. And oh, by the way, is different.
Okay.
And I said, you know, so what do I do? And so I joined the Atlanta Black Chambers really to help me find out how to do this entrepreneurial journey. And, you know, leaving corporate, a lot of men and women who didn't look like me. So I was like, I got to join the Atlanta Black Chambers. I want to be around people who look like me. But I saw something even with the chambers that they, you know, were helping our black entrepreneurs become profitable businesses. But at the time, I was like, wait a minute, where are the women? You know, I left corporate and there was a bunch of men, white men. I come to the chamber and I'm like, there's men, black men, but men. And I said, I knew as a woman, I needed something different.
Okay.
I needed something to help me not just with the business, but the entrepreneurial and the community and the mental resilience, because it is challenging and I needed that support group. And so I said, hey, what do we do for women? And they said, well, we have something around Women's History Month. And I'm like, okay, that's great. What else do we do? And they said, we have this Women's League, but it's not really active yet. And so, you know, when you start asking questions and then all of a sudden you get voluntold.
Yeah.
So I was voluntold to take over the Women's League. But in that space, I mean, God, and again, just being obedient, like, okay, if this is what I'm to do in addition to my business, Lord, help me. And so that's what we do is we help our black women entrepreneurs. We provide them the tools and the resources and education to have business, because sometimes we have not because we know not. And so putting tools, trainings to help our black entrepreneurs, also the support side of this business, because the biggest thing that keeps us sometimes in our own way is us being in our own way. And so we have the support side where we offer a community, socials, think tank, masterminds to help you build your community as a black woman entrepreneur. And then the final thing that we do is so important to me is the give back. So we have community outreach where we want to help our young black women in their entrepreneurial journey, because we know the Michelle Obamas, we know the Oprahs, but those you can't touch or feel. So it almost seems unattainable. But when you see that Black woman entrepreneur who is killing it, who is doing great things, she's in your community and you can touch and feel her, it just makes it more like that can be me. And so that's what we do with the Women's League. We want to help our Black women entrepreneurs thrive and where your business is a blessing and not a burden.
Wow, that's good. That's good. So what are some of those, when we lay it out, what are some of the challenges that Black women face?
Oh, how long is this show?
When it comes to entrepreneurship and even climbing the corporate ladder, what are some of those challenges that we face as women?
Mm-hmm. I'm going to go twofold. First, I need us to look inward and say, am I presenting my best self? And that's in corporate and in entrepreneurship, because sometimes we don't have the tools, we don't have the resources, and so maybe we're not presenting our best self. So that education piece, no matter where you are, is so important. And then the next thing is that confidence. So the external, the tangible education, but then do you believe that you belong in the room? Do you believe you should have a seat at the table? Because it's one thing to say, I'm going to work hard, I'm going to get certified, I'm going to get educated. We are overly educated. But sometimes we don't believe we deserve to be in that space. We don't believe that we should go after that contract. We don't believe we should demand our worth. And so sometimes we are in our own way. And then I cannot sit here and say it's not systemic as well, right? And so that there are not barriers to our growth that we cannot control. But my thing is, what can you control? Who are your allies? Who are those people who are going to advocate for you in that room? If you don't have people who don't look like you in your circle, you are missing the mark, because there are going to be people who don't look like you who can get in those rooms. And you need them to mention your name.
So is that why you mention a lot about, like, even with your coaching, do you encourage networking, and how do you get in those circles and places and rub shoulders with gatekeepers?
Yeah, networking is pivotal. When I was in corporate, I was very networked internally, from the CEO to, all the way down the chain. I spent a lot of time, but then when I left corporate, I'm like, oh wait, I don't know anybody. So networking was important, but it's bigger than that. It's building relationships, and it's a give and take. Sometimes we I'm going to go and I'm going to give you 10 cards. Okay, but what are you going to give in this relationship? And then what do you want to get? Sometimes we lead with the I want, instead of this is how I can help you. So it's building authentic relationships in a way that's comfortable for you. Sometimes people think, well, I've got to go to the big event with 10,000 people, and I'm an introvert, so I'm not good at networking, and I don't like it, so I'm not going to do it. If you don't like that, then go to the small groups where you can have those more intimate relationships. Go to the one-on-ones. I tell people, 15-minute coffee chats. Like when I started in my career, I would meet with the executives, and I just said, I just need 15 minutes. Everybody has 15 minutes. So they're like, okay. And then I'm like, let me take my 15 minutes. But it was, I wanted to get to know you authentically, and I wanted to get you to know me. And then that relationship part, then you thought, oh, this opportunity's coming. I remember Michelle. And that's what I need people to do, is just build authentic relationships.
That's good. That's good. So how can people and women be a part of the Women's League?
Easy. Go to the Atlanta Black Chambers and just join and just come to stuff.
That's
Sometimes
good.
People think, oh, it's got to be this big process, and then I've got to commit. And the first thing I say, before you marry us, date us. Come to the things that we do. Come to our monthly calls that are every third Friday at 8:30 in the morning. Hint, hint. Those are virtual on Zoom. You can come to those. Come to the events that we have. We just had a retreat a couple of weeks ago at the Atlanta Evergreen, which is amazing.
Yes.
We have a tea coming up May 5th, hint, hint. But just come to things. And then once you say, okay, I like these people, I like what they're doing, and they can help me, and I like this community, then you can talk about joining, and then you can talk about being more engaged and helping in the planning. But the first thing is very foundation. Just come. Just show up.
That's great. Come on, let's give it up for our Trailblazer Award recipient, Michelle Glover. Come on, let's show her some love. Woo!
What you do every single day, the service that you put in every single day is changing more lives than you know.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in STEM. Dr. Maxine Cain, president of STEM Atlanta Women Incorporated.
Believed in me, I was lost before you showed the way.
Let's give it up for Dr. Maxine Cain. Woo! Come on down, sweetie. My other sister girl. I am so glad that you are one of the hardest working women. Oh my God. Wow. It's a blessing. It's a blessing to have you. You know, when did you first, start thinking about, this opportunity to really get into STEM and working with kids?
So my background is human resources by trade. So I was with a corporate Fortune 50 company for about 22 years as an HR professional. And during that time, we had a very tough time trying to staff and recruit women of color in our innovation space. And so I had the opportunity to leave the company, take advantage of a very rich pension, and I thought, I'm going to start my own event planning company, right? Nothing to do with STEM, because as a part of my job at this company, I did corporate event planning for our senior leaders and mid managers. And so when I left the organization, I said, okay, I'm going to start my own company at Maxine Cain Events. Well, during that time, I had a lot of leaders reach out to me, and they wanted to know how I can connect them with other corporate leaders. From a business development perspective, because I was, obviously had a lot of access to high wealth individuals. And I would ask a question, and I would say, well, what am I going to sell to connect you to these individuals? Because I'm known as a connector in the community as well. And I said, a lot of corporations are focused on science, technology, engineering, and math, and they want to share insight and sponsor various initiatives that centered around that. And a lot of them were like, and this was 8 years ago. So a lot of companies and leaders and entrepreneurs were just not focused on that, right? And I remember one day in the morning, I was in my prayer time, and I asked God, I said, Lord, why is it that we don't have enough leaders in our community focused on the future state of technology?
Yes.
It is the number one industry in the world. And I said, I'm asking a lot of leaders to really put an emphasis on that. And he said to me, and someone said it earlier, be careful what you ask God for.
Yes.
And in my prayer, he said 3 words. Why not you?
Wow.
Why not you? And I paused, and I thought, that is not what I planned to do. I wanted to do my own event planning company because I love that. I love high-end, luxurious events. And I was non-obedient at first. And how many of you know that delayed obedience is still disobedience, right?
Yeah.
And I thought, let me think about this, because I had been in tech the entire time. And I was just really wanted to do what I wanted to do. I had an awesome opportunity. And I just kept reflecting on that. Why not you? So I took a whole year off, did a lot of research and development in the Atlanta community, talking with Black tech leaders, trying to understand, what's going on? Why is it that we do not have enough women, more specifically Black and brown women, interested in tech and in STEM? And a lot of it was the lack of representation. They didn't see themselves in the space. They didn't feel welcome. They didn't feel smart enough. They felt this sense of imposter syndrome. You guys know that, where we kind of question ourselves, question our ability, question our intellectual capital. More importantly, we question our value.
Right. And
all the things that we've gone through historically plays a part in that. And so I said, okay, I yielded. And I started the organization. I was going to just do STEM Atlanta.
Okay.
And focus on both boys and girls.
Yeah, because I remember that's how you started. Yeah, okay.
I was going to do STEM Atlanta, focusing on boys and girls, because I felt like our black boys also needed training and development. And during my research, it was more around the lack of women. I think at the time when we started, it was like maybe 1 or 2% of black and brown women, even in the space. And even today, 8 years later, we are still not where we need to be. And so I said, let's focus on women. Actually, one of the black tech leaders said, I want you to look at an organization very similar in New Orleans called, it was, I'm drawing a blank on the name, but it's Dr. Calvin Mackey. And he has, STEM NOLA is what it was. And so this leader said, go do some research on that. And I'm like, well, what is that? He says, do some research and come back to me. And it was all around Dr. Calvin Mackey doing a lot of work in the New Orleans, Louisiana area in this space. And I said, okay, I'm really gonna go in and I'm gonna really focus on women and girls in the Atlanta market.
So did you partner?
No.
Okay.
But I understood the concept.
I see.
Hence
Okay.
STEM Atlanta women.
I see.
Versus STEM NOLA. So that's how we got started. And so we've been in business now 8 years. We are a nonprofit organization for women and girls, and we focus on enhancing and increasing the talent pipeline for women and girls in STEM, more specifically black and brown girls in underserved and underrepresented communities. We service and support middle schoolers, high schoolers, recent college graduates between the ages of 19 and 35, and then early career professionals. And so you may think, wow, that's a broad range, but it's all about the pathway. And you have to start really early.
Yeah.
And so people were like, are you going to do elementary school? And I'm like, I really don't have the capacity. But I started with middle schoolers. So we absolutely serve and support Coretta Scott King, Young Women's Leadership Academy. We support King Middle and Summerhill. We support Carver Early College, High School, Morrow Elementary, and the list goes on and on.
Wow. I mean, this
is a lot of schools.
Come on, let's give it up. Oh my God. I mean, touching, young boys and girls at all age groups. Listen, let's give her another hand. Our award recipient, Dr. Maxine Cain.
On point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree. A woman in the community, Elisabeth Omilami, American human rights activist and CEO of Hosea Helps.
Yes, she is. Still when I'm a mess, still put on a vest, feeling that so much of, oh yes, I'm a superwoman. That's right.
Yes.
This is for.
She is a superwoman. Come on, let's give it up for Elisabeth Omilami. Woo! Wow. Oh, my Lord, have mercy. We were hanging out at the Bronze Lens Awards honors, and I get to see you again, sweetie. Yes, isn't she beautiful? Oh, my God. For years, you have been serving, you have been feeding, and just helping the world, really, and leading the way with Hosea Helps. Talk to us about, just your ministry and what you've been doing and what you're continuing to do.
I was the only black female to head a nonprofit in the food area. And what we had been doing then was they were buying food from the black farmers and then canning it up and packaging it up and selling it back to the black farmers. Wow. It was the Atlanta Community Food Bank, they sell their food. But we didn't want to sell our food to the 51,000 people a year we feed. We wanted to give it to them because they make less than $25,000 a year. They pay more than 50% of their income on their rent. They usually have to pay something for child care, transportation, gas went up, food went up. We don't want to be another place that they have to go and buy food. We want to be a blessing. And so every week we have a food giveaway. And it comes partially from donations from Kroger, donations from Publix, and individuals like my Sadus. No, don't let me make the wrong sound, because I don't know. So 1 in 7 families, black families in Atlanta, live in a food desert. That means they live 10 miles or more from a grocery store. And then what makes it hard to be poor, or more expensive to be poor, we end up buying our food in these little convenience stores.
Okay, yeah.
We go there because they are convenient, but everything's higher. Everything's higher in there. So not only are we in the food distribution business, we also will pay your rent if you are getting evicted. I don't know how many of you realize that landlords are out of control in Atlanta.
Yeah.
They can raise your rent, nobody will stop them. There are no tenant controls in the state of Georgia.
That's right.
So if he decides he's going to raise your rent $300, and that's what's happening to the people that are coming to see us.
Okay.
They are not blind, crippled, and crazy. They are working people who, but for the grace of God, there go I.
Yeah.
And so if they're being put out and we have a grant left, money left in the grant, we will pay their rent, we pay their deposit. If they're moving for rapid rehousing, we will help pay their first month's and their last month's rent and their deposits so they can get in. And then we have a SNAP program where, the government is attacking SNAP. And they are saying they are going to cancel the food stamp program. Well, that's just ridiculous. That's just coming from many of the ridiculousness that's in D.C. right now. We have to write our congressmen. We have to write our legislators and our representatives and say, no, do not cut the SNAP program. The children need the food. Hungry children cannot learn.
Right.
And so we have a SNAP program, and then at Jose we'll open one thing you've seen since you've known us so long, and Madame Liddell, is that we've grown from just a few holiday dinners to a year-round, full-time human services organization, the largest run by a black female in the Eastern Seaboard.
That's awesome. And every year, WAOK and other sister stations, we go, we volunteer and help to serve the community. And you should see the people that are driving through, working Americans, like you said, who are in need of food and baskets. And guess what? All under the arms of this wonderful honoree. Let's show some love again to our Trailblazer honoree, Elisabeth Omilami. We'll go to break, and Hank is up next, and we've got also another special thing we're getting ready to do, and we're coming to an end.
On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, Trailblazer honoree, a woman in media. The legendary Joyce Littell, brand manager of News and Talk 1380 WAOK, producer of All Things, and signature voice of The Quiet Storm.
A quiet storm, quiet as when flowers don't.
That's right.
Break of dawn. A power source of tender force.
Come on, let's give it up for Joyce Littell. I tell you,
pull that one over on me.
That's right.
Oh. Had I known, my 91-year-old mama would have been here. But since I didn't know.
Chandra, I tell you, we've been working behind the scenes, and, we said we want to honor our very own Joyce Littell. She's been in radio for years, 20 plus 20 times 2 plus years.
Okay, but I was about to say 40.
But you know, she's the voice of the Quiet Storm that's heard on V103 overnight. But she's also the brand manager. She's our boss here at WAOK, and you know, it is because of her that we are able to do what we do. And Joyce came and said, "Hey, listen, I got some ideas for you, right? And I think you need to do this, and you need to do that." And we have done all of these things because of her creativity and her leadership. We've done Sister Talk, Woman to Woman. We've had Women in Climate Change, and many other guests have come, and this Trailblazer Award. And it's all because of this jewel right here. And we just want to show you some love.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. As everyone have said today, is all because of God, God's divine order. We just have to listen and be and just follow His lead. And the other thing, like everybody else said, you gotta put good people around you. And all of the talent on WAOK is great talent, from Rashad Ritchie to Derek Bozeman to Juandolyn Stokes to Voices in the Street to Mary Gill to Daryl Killian to Dr. Adrian. I mean, all the talent deserves an award because of what they do. And you just make it easy for me because of your talents, because of your experience, because of your eagerness, because of you wanting to do it. Yeah, I might have the ideas, but you have to want to do it. And you all want to do it, and you do it well. So let's give it up for the talent of WAOK.
Thank you.
So that's why we want to give you an award.
Oh, man! Come on!
See, you can't do that to me. I got something for you. So let's give it up for Juandolyn Stokes, the host extraordinaire. And I don't know if you had a thing, but we don't have that. Juandolyn and I go way back. I'm going to tell you just a quick story. She was at Clark Atlanta. I was at Marsh Brown, and we met while we were in school. She was doing WCLK, and I started doing WIGO, and we made it back here. And 4 or 5 years ago?
Yeah.
Juandolyn and I had not seen each other in about 20 years. And just so happened, she popped up on Instagram. And just so happened, I became manager. And just so happened, I hired her. That's just how this goes. And she is phenomenal. So let's give her another big round of applause.
Oh, wow.
And on behalf of...
And now, the host of On Point with Juandolyn Stokes, an outstanding woman who blazed a trail for generations to come in the broadcast industry, Juandolyn Stokes.
And she's our bishop, too, so when we need some Jesus, when we need somebody to put their hands on us, we go to Juandolyn. Because in this business, you need some hands put on you. But to all of the honorees, we thank you, women, for doing what you do. And we here at WAOK will help you be a voice to the community. All you have to do is just let us know, like Miss Omilami. She gonna tell us where to show up at, and we gonna show up. So if you need us to be a part of what you're doing and you want the community to know about it, our motto at WAOK is the voice of the community.
That's right.
So if you need something to be said and not to be misconstrued because it was said by others, then bring it to us. Because we look like you, we act like you, and we're going to stand before you and do all that we can for this community. So again, on behalf of WAOK, on behalf of Odyssey, we thank all of you for doing what you do, coming out today, and we thank Juandolyn for being the head of it. Thanks again, and...
Well, before we go, Chantel, don't you go anywhere. Come here.
Okay.
Now, you've been seeing her run around, right? So, you know, I'm the host, this the boss, and we get together. But she has been the glue to making it all happen.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, she's been producing this award show, the Woman to Woman series, and we have been doing the radio show 5 days a week this month, and all with a staff of one. Listen, I appreciate you, and I just want to give you a little love. Oh, I want to give you some love. Give it up for Chantel. And she hosts the Good Vibes on Fridays at 7 o'clock as well. So thank you so very much for being a part of today. We appreciate all of you, all of these producers. And before we leave, who's going to close us out? And a special tribute to our honorees. And then afterwards, our honorees will go this way. Hank, it's in your hands, Doc.
Thank you very much.
Come on, let's give it up for Hank Stewart.
Real quick, thank you, Juandolyn. Thank you, Joyce. These two ladies have more to do with my career. Juandolyn, the three very first shows I ever showed up was Juandolyn, Greg Lockett, and Joyce Littell. So that's how long. And Joyce is the reason why my name became household, because of working with her. Looking at these honorees, it's real simple. Dr. Dorothy Heights once said, "Black women seldom do what they want to, but they always do what they have to." Dr. Janetta Cole once said, "You can educate a man, you educate an individual, you educate a woman, you educate a nation." Dr. Yusef Benjamin says she's dipped in chocolate, she's bronzed in elegance, enameled in grace, toasted in beauty. My Lord, she must be a black woman. Eleanor Roosevelt had to be talking about a sister when she said, "A woman is like a tea bag. You never know how strong she is until you put her in hot water." That's these sisters in this room. So the only word that really, it's two letters that really fits you. One word, it. When she walked into the room, there was something very special about her. Something really unique. Not the kind of special you see a stranger. You see, she has what we would call it. And her it is extraordinary. It's got us tripping. I must admit, what is it? Well, I'm glad you asked. But let me suggest something, fellas. If you ever see it and it's available, do yourself a favor and make her your wife. You see, it is confidence. It's an air. It is pride. It knows how to handle adversity. It takes things in stride. Now I'm talking about it. It cannot be inherited, nor is it willed, and it's not genetic. Just because your mother had it, it doesn't mean that it will grace you. I promise you, I've seen some ladies who thought they had it and Juandolyn didn't have a clue. Now I'm still talking about it. It knows when to speak and it knows when not to say a word. It is like Godiva chocolate. You see, it is preferred. It knows which fork to use. It frequents plays. It doesn't raise hell. Instead, it chooses to pray. You see, when she smiles, you see it. When she laughs, you hear it. When she tells you something, you believe it. When she hurts, you feel it. When she dances, you want to move with it. You see, a man wants to love it. He wants to hold it. He wants to cherish it. He wants to protect it. Every man knows his life is incomplete without it. You see, for it, she is a prototype. It's like she doesn't walk, she glides, and around it is this light. Now, you can't find it in the special section of the store. You can't order it offline, and trust me, there'll be no articles about it from the press. But one thing for sure, it sure knows how to wear that little blight dress. It can be defined by height, age, shape, color, size, or any of those things. It could be single, divorce. It might be wearing a ring. You see, it is all or none. You can't have just a little bit of it. It is classy, sophisticated, and elegant. You tell the way it stands or the way it sits. Now, how many ladies in here believe they have it? Raise their hand. Put your hands down, because it cannot be claimed. It is humble. It didn't even know it has it. It is just that plain. Now, there's no class or seminar you can take for it, and you can't study it in the manual. It is not a membership-based club. You can't pledge for it, and there's no fees to renew it annually. It is a lot of things, but it gives more than it takes. Well, all that it is, one thing, you can't fake it. And just tell your fellows, you can never make an ain't and it. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Dedicated to all of our honorees and all of you. And this has been a wonderful occasion, and we look forward again to the next time.
News and Talk 1380 WAOK.